the mercurial Donald Trump, you don't know what to expect of him, because even the last time twice the negotiations were on, and Oman was there saying that they look positive, and the next day they attacked. So the mercantilist Donald Trump is very hard to predict. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I'm making a larger point. Maybe he's buying time. Maybe he's playing the markets. Maybe he's trying to create the space by the time, the Marines arrive. Or maybe, I want to keep my fingers crossed, maybe it is genuine. So the jury's out on this one. You see, before I come to India, there are two countries who are probably celebrating their Christmas and Chinese New Year ahead of time. The only two countries that seem to have gained so far is Russia and China, for obvious reasons. Yes, for us it is a bit of a setback because our Prime Minister did a great job. In Middle East, we created great chemistry through our absolutely brilliant diplomacy with a very nimble and deft foreign minister, has done a great job. But now again, with this act by Donald J. Trump, the whole apple cart has to be redefined. But I must compliment the Prime Minister for, as if now, barring the premium, the prices really haven't gone up as compared to how they've gone up in the other countries. So we've done a good job. We've diversified our sourcing from different parts of the world. We're not really dependent on, one or two or three countries anymore. But this is very, very technical. And the other thing is that, about the war is that I'm not too sure if Iran really wants to settle as if Donald Trump wants him to settle. You've decapitated the entire higher, the top few layers. And now you expect them to come to the table without laying the terms. And I don't know in 1 week what terms are they going to lay. Because Iran has understood one thing. If China created the choke points by rare earths, America created choke points for China by controlling their energy requirements, which is first Venezuela and now Iran. Now Iran has the cards. Iran has the choke points where Iran understood that through the Strait of Hormuz, they have stopped the entire world. I mean, metamorphically speaking, Iran is now tasted blood. And even if they have to get back to America, they don't need to go 10,000 miles away, and nor do they have the equipment or the defense. All they need to do is just, start attacking the GCC countries, which they've been doing. Because at the end of the day, all the GCC countries are vassal states to the America. I mean, I call them air-conditioned economies. And, they've invested over billions of dollars in the United States, and Dubai being the highest. So Iran understands that if they want to send a message to the United States, all they need to do is activate their defense, the drones and other missiles across the river. And that gets the attention of Donald Trump, and not to mention the entire oil markets have been, choked. And Donald Trump actually is looking for an off-ramp. I don't know if this is real or no, he's looking for an off-ramp because he's cornered. For him, what matters is the market and the gasoline prices. And things don't absolutely look good for him going into the midterm elections, because that's when, even the strongest of MAGA supporters might turn against him. And thus far, his popularity seems to be very low. So Iran has understood one thing. I mean, this is a new way of asymmetric warfare where Iran has understood that you don't need the B-52 bombers and all these kind of things. All you need is to know where to hit it, when to hit it. And the entire world has actually stopped. You see, first of all, a lot of what happens behind closed doors we might not know. But let me tell you, India is in a sweet spot. And which even puts more responsibility on us, because our Prime Minister has made one way of communicating which is very strong, and that is no response is a very powerful response. Because let's understand, he's the Prime Minister of India. We have interest in America. We have over 1 crore people in the GCC countries. We get about $40 billion and plus in terms of remittance. So I'm not too sure if our Prime Minister, because he might take side and that might make us vulnerable on the other side. So we are in a sweet spot, and I think we're doing a brilliant job by actually focusing more inwards. Please understand, we need to maintain our economic growth too. And if you look at it, we have vertically integrated backwards and tried to diversify our dependence in terms of energy also, because it's a very fraught and polarized world. So, you can't depend on one or two or three aspects. So I think full points to the Indian Prime Minister and our Indian diplomacy, where they've been able to, help at least over 1,000 students from Iran come back, and we've diversified our sources of energy. As much as we need Iran and the GCC countries, we also need the United States of America. So I think Jaishankar ji is probably the best man for the job, because he understands diplomacy better than a lot of people around the world. And it's not me, but a lot of diplomats and a lot of foreign ministers across the world have appreciated for the way he does conduct things. So yes, I think we're doing a good job, but end of the day, this issue has to be sorted out, because to a certain extent only the Prime Minister can, create the cushioning inwards. Let's understand, we need energy, we buy energy, we're dependent on, so many countries across the world, and that's how the world is. It's a global village. So I don't think anybody can today afford to live in isolation, which Donald Trump has also realized, because first he went out belittling and disrespecting his NATO allies, and now he's complaining that they haven't supported him. So in this fraught and polarized world, we cannot afford to antagonize anybody unless if the situation is really grave, because we need to control our economy, we need to control our sourcing, we need to control our supply chains, and for that, we cannot afford to burn any bridges with anybody.